In this lesson, we're going to start discussing ebook features. To follow along, go under the File menu to Open, and in the Sample Files folder, scroll all the way down the bottom to a folder called 1700 EPUB folder, and select 1702 Articles Get Everything in Order within that EPUB folder, and just click Open. If you're using InDesign CS5 and want to create an EPUB, you would go to File, Export for EPUB. Chances are you will not be all that happy with the result. Luckily, InDesign CS6 gives you the tools to put you in control of what will be in the final EPUB and how it will look. The first of these tools we're going to discuss is called the Articles panel. To find it, go under your Window menu to Articles. The panel allows you to determine the order of objects in the exported EPUB. Without using the Articles panel, InDesign will determine the order. Basically, what it's doing is starting in the upper left-hand corner of your page and works its way towards the right. And whatever it comes to first will be first. Whatever it comes to next will be second, and so on and so forth. So it will not look like this page at all. Well, the way the Articles panel works is I'm going to select everything on this page, and I'm just going to click and drag right into the panel. It's going to open the new article dialog window where it wants me to name it. I'm going to call it Inside Cover. And it wants to know if I want to include this in the exported EPUB, and it's checked by default. I'm just going to click OK. And you can see that it's listing all of the objects that I dragged in there, but they're not in the right order. As I said, it started with the first thing it came to as it was going down the page from the left. So I have to get everything in order. Why don't we start with Tips Masthead PDF, which is this. And I'm just going to drag it upwards. And you can see this is very much like the timing panel in animation, or even the layers panel. Second comes reprinted with permission. Let me drag that up. And wherever I let go at that insert point is where it's going to end up. The next thing is by Adobe Certified Instructor Jeff Witchell, and that's in the right place. And I now need to take my Author House logo and drag that up as well. And it looks now like everything is in the right order. So let me click the disclosure arrow, and we're going to determine the order of everything else in the sample chapters of the book. Scroll down and go to the first chapter. Each chapter was handled in the book as a separate story. All I have to do is click and drag the first text frame of that story, and it knows that I want a new article. So I'm going to call it Author, and just click OK. And you can see it's added that story. Let me scroll down further. The next section is Acknowledgements, and that too is a separate story. So I just need to click and drag it into the Articles panel, and I'll call it Thank Yous. Just click OK. Let me scroll down a little bit further and go to the next chapter, and that's my introduction. Oh, but what about the images? We're going to talk about that in an upcoming lesson. Let me just drag this into the Articles panel, and we'll call it Introduction, and just click OK, and go a little bit further down to the next chapter, which is the Contents. Drag that under Introduction, and we'll call it Contents, and click OK. And let's go even deeper into this book where we have the first chapter. I'm just going to close my disclosure arrows to make room and drag the first chapter underneath Contents, and we'll call that The Basics, and click OK. So now we've determined the order of everything in our book, but not the pictures, which we're going to handle in an upcoming lesson. We're going to continue discussing ebooks in the next lesson.